Tommy is the same age as Ace. His bond with her is really special. Ace is a gentle giant with her. He follows and observes her. When Tommy was learning to walk, he was really nervous about how fast she was going on her walker, and he was trying to grab the walker to stop it. He is always on guard with her. And then when Tommy was sick recently, he cuddled with her on the couch and laid his head on her lap. He's adorable. He would just lay next to her and play with her toys. Once we caught him sucking on her pacifier. He always wanted to approach her, even though we kept him away from the baby. We were very lucky that we were able to find him. People that bought Ace didn't want him anymore, and we're trying to find somebody to get him. We have 3 daughters, and they were really scared of him because he was very nippy. So we didn't really allow them to be close to each other until he learned he had to be gentle and calm. I spent a lot of time training him to not jump on people when they walk in and not to bite. And once he got out of that puppy phase, girls realized that he wasn't that bad. He is a cuddle bug. Every morning, he'll get up and walk over to them. They'll sit down and he likes to lay his legs over them. His affection towards the kid, it's awesome. But I don't ever leave him alone with them. Still, he did develop really strong bonds with their family members. My middle child has a lot of energy. They do a lot of running around. Their energy matches a lot. My oldest one was a cuddler with him. She's a loving, gentle one that wants to take care of him. He looks up to her more like he does with us parents. And when the older girls were at school, he stayed home with the baby and me. He gravitated towards her because he was also a baby. He's been learning things with her since they've grown up at the same age. They had their own form of communication. It was special to see them so close to each other. It just warms my heart. I don't know what I would do if we didn't have Ace. It makes me very grateful that we have a dog that loves them like we do. And they love him dearly, too. That's his biggest reward.
Are you chewing on my rug? Babe!
He's a firecracker, and I love it about him. Whether it be doing his zoomies around the backyard or flying down the hallway, everything he does is funny. Bane actually sits on his bum like a human and puts his paws on the table. He loves the trampoline. We put him up there and he started running around. He's a class clown.
Parkour!
His personality has shone through from the moment we got him. He chewed everything.
Good boy. We're gonna have a look. You can't chew it.
I'll talk to him. It's going in one ear and out the other. He has made us pull our hair out. Like, all he wants is to be near people. He's a massive cuddler. Loves to snuggle up. And he loves children. My daughter spends the most time with him. She gets anxiety. And when things get a bit overwhelming for her, she'll go outside and they'll lie in the sun together. and the dog will actually put his body weight on top of her because he knows that that's what she needs to be able to calm down. He hasn't had proper training as a therapy dog. He has just picked up on what she needs. So she's got a friend that she can rely on. He's such a smart boy. Bullterriers are a very misunderstood breed. Well, I've had people started screaming at me saying, "Get your aggressive dog away." And Bane looks at me as though, hang on, what did I do? He hasn't got an aggressive bone in his body. He has made us laugh. He has made us cry. But most of all, he's made us happy. He's changed my life completely. I will never ever find another dog like him.
That was nice, Hendrix. Did you open the door for Kafka?
From the moment Kafka was introduced to baby Hendrix, it was like a wolf had finally found her cub. No matter where Hendrix was, that's where Kafka wanted to be.
He tried to ride him like a horse. Hendrix! I don't think you should do that.
When Hendrix wakes up in the morning, Kafka makes sure to open the gate for him. If Hendrix brings out the leash, Kafka is right on his tail. He even tries to share his dummy with Kafka.
Kafka!
But I never thought another dog would be able to bring my family so much joy after what happened.
I feel like in the middle of the night he's gonna wake up and open the fridge.
When I first decided to get Kafka, it was a hard choice to make. As I had just lost my 2-year-old Samoyed Kimba. But this fluffy boy managed to surprise us. He fit in with the family right away and instantly became a little pack with my son.
Any walks a day will take the fat away. So please take every walk.
It's been 8 years since we got Kafka, and him and Hendrix have gotten up to a whole lot together. Whether it's bonding over games, or even taking Hendrix to school where he gets unlimited cuddles. Kafka is the ultimate snowball sidekick.
You're hungry today. Yeah.
But when it comes to activities, they've got 3 special ones that they can't get enough of. Number 1, Kafka is Hendrix's master sous chef. Whenever Hendrix makes some food, Kafka is always there to waste test. Even if he wasn't invited.
Hendrix is gonna get the last part of the present.
Number 2, they're always playing pranks on me and telling each other secrets.
I actually heard everything that you said.
They will just hide things from me and joke about it together.
I'm not annoying.
Number 3, sardine day at the park. Whenever Kafka goes for a walk with Hendrix, picking up some tasty sardines is a must. He made every day happier with all of his silly antics.
He's a nice bud.
So we knew from day 1 that he was meant to be ours. The fact that Kafka and Hendrix are only a month apart proves that their friendship was written in the stars. They've had 8 beautiful years together, and we can't wait for many more to come.
You are the best father in the entire world. You change his diapers. You read him bedtime stories. Grandma is so proud of you and Poppy J.
My godson, Poppy J and Ace, they're very close. If he starts crying, Ace will go up to him to make sure he's okay.
Your son is sleepy. You gotta put your son to sleep.
If Poppy J is on the couch, Bishop Ace is gonna come sit next to him. If he's trying to crawl on his back and then grab his tail, Bishop Ace just sits there like a puppy and lets him do it.
Grandma wants to talk to you, and Godmama wants to talk to you.
Ace just the sweetest dog with Poppy J. But their bond was definitely not something I saw down the line. My daughter and her friend got him at 8 weeks old. He came at a very rough time and became the biggest blessing to us. We can't even go from one room to another without him following. I'm trying to sleep and he gets in the bed and he has to get under the cover. He's definitely going to lay on mom and cuddle with her. Bishop Ace has been pretty much the youngest in the house, so he's always catered.
Okay, Grandma's here. I know you miss Grandma. Just wait a minute. Just calm down.
So when Poppy J first came to the home, Ace was trying to figure out how long is he going to be here. Bishop Ace, he just looked at him. It's like, oh my goodness, I have to share my grandma. I have to share my mom. We've had babies at our home before, but Poppy J has definitely taken the cake with how often he is there.
You're not the only one.
So we just let him know he was a baby. You have to be gentle. We'll put them together and just sit them together and kind of let them talk or play.
But both of y'all better get y'all spirit together.
And I started seeing that Ace was very curious. He tried to lick him and lay next to him. He's realized like Poppy J is here to stay and Poppy J isn't going anywhere. So from that day forward, their bond has just grown. Now we joke around saying Ace is the father of Poppy J.
Your baby is not here. He's at home. I know you miss your baby.
You know, pit bulls, they definitely don't have the best name. But Bishop Ace is loving and compassionate dog. He's always been a dog that has loved kids. So Poppy J was just the missing piece to the puzzle. And I have no doubt that they're definitely going to be best friends.
I wasn't sure how he would do when a new baby came into the house. But when Octavius was 2 weeks old, Echo came over and nuzzled him and was cuddling with him. And it's crazy because Echo is our rescue dog, and a lot of people think he would be more aggressive, but they are just the best of friends. If Echo goes onto the bed to lay down, Octavius goes onto the bed to lay next to him. If we give Octavius a treat, he instinctually wants to give it to Echo first. But if you have your back turned for a moment, they have their mischievous, naughty sides as well. Echo and his mom were found in the desert in California where we live. And at the time, we looked into getting a second dog because our Malamute Atlas was feeling very lonely. And they instantly got along and just played and wrestled all day. But when we officially adopted him, Echo was very timid, especially with males. So I wasn't sure how he would do with the baby. But you also love your dog, and you want both things in your life, and it just doubles your love. So we brought Octavius home from the hospital, and they just came up and would sniff him and put their noses underneath him. They just worked together perfectly. But because Atlas is more independent, Echo by far is a better friend to Octavius. He just loves him so much. Echo never once showed any aggression towards the baby. When Octavius will be really sad or crying, Echo will come over and cuddle with him. He loves him like he's his own little puppy. As he got bigger and was able to move around, Echo would play with him and tickle him a bit. But when they are caught doing something naughty, they know exactly what they're doing, and they'll stop and look cute in the moment so that way they don't get in trouble. When we're on our walks, Octavius is always reaching his arm out to try to grab the leashes to help walk the dogs. And I just can't wait for them to get even bigger so they can start playing fetch. People are always commenting on them when they see them because they're so big. And I always respond like, they're perfect with him, they love him. So I would say just please open your heart to the dogs and the babies and give it a chance. We've had a great experience, and I hope that other people can also enjoy our experience too.
Oh, say cheese. Can you give Bowie a kiss?
Seeing them together, it's kind of what you see in the movies.
Aww.
Bowie loves to roll on his back and kind of dance, and Ziggy dances with him. Bowie will let Ziggy crawl all over him. Now, don't get me wrong, there were natural fears or worries that they wouldn't get along. But I really made a vow to myself that I wasn't going to have that happen.
Are you trying to eat her food? He's trying to eat your food?
My husband and I, we actually already had one dog, Blaze. And we're getting to that point where we just felt we needed to welcome another dog into the family. We started looking at Bull Terriers and just looking at Bull Terrier content. And weirdly enough, we saw a message that linked to someone selling Bull Terrier puppies on Craigslist. I initially got a weird vibe, but my husband and I just kind of felt a calling. We went there, and we very quickly found that it wasn't the best situation for these dogs. And when I saw him and when I held him for the first time, I was just melting. I don't know the full story, but it felt phenomenal to just rescue and save this little guy.
Let's go, Bobo. Take your ball.
Before I knew I was pregnant, Bowie got extra snuggly with me. I thought something might be wrong with him. Turns out he just knew. And when the time came that Ziggy was born, he was just mesmerized with her. He would just sit right by us, whether we were feeding or holding her. He was obsessed with kissing her feet. And he really didn't like being far from her at all. Even though each month she gets bigger, he knew how to interact with her. Whether that was literally just laying by her side, making sure everything was okay, or playing fetch inside the house and things like that.
You know Bowie?
And watching them together is like a dream come true.
Hey, mister. Do you want this?
He really breaks down certain stereotypes that people have because he's such a lovable turd. I can tell that Bowie is so devoted to her and their bonding is lifelong.
No. You two, knock it off. Axel, no. Why do you want to lick the baby's face?
My daughter, Miriam, is one of Axel's favorite people. Wherever she is going, he follows. In the mornings when we get her out of the crib, he comes right in with me and he greets her. They get to share food.
No, that's your food. No.
Axel's favorite playtime is when she'll throw the ball for him. Such a loving, fun bond between both of them. But before Miriam, Axel was like the baby of the house. My husband and I, we always loved boxers. And we were like, after we get married, let's get a dog. And this is what we did when we were taking him home in the car. We wrapped him up in a little towel. This was really cute. And then we would really take him everywhere with us to Central Park every morning where he was doing a lot of training.
Good job, Axel.
He's allowed on the couch, so he would like snuggle with us. I feel like he thinks that everybody's here for him. He was on our only child, and then Miriam comes along. That was a challenge. When we were about to bring her home, our biggest thought was like, man, how is he gonna take to the baby? How is this relationship going to be? He was definitely a little anxious, and he would get very upset and almost jealous because I'm giving her too much attention. But after a week or so, he started to mellow out and calm down. I think he realized, like, okay, this is life now. And she was so cute. So now they're like two peas in a pod. Sometimes he'll jump up onto the crib and look at her. Axel's the sweetest dog. He loves to cuddle with Miriam and sniff her constantly. I think that Miriam is a little bit more in charge, like with food, for example. But he loves her so much that it's okay. You know, it's really great that our child gets to grow up with like such a great, loyal, good family dog. I love that because we have so many lovely memories with Axel.
Miriam, that's a doggy toy. That's a doggy toy.
Now we get to share that with Miriam as she's growing up.
Oh, I think he's happy to see you, Squish.
When people say our Staffy looks scary and mean, I say, have you seen him with Skylar? He just turns to mush. They do absolutely everything together. Loki loves cuddling with Skylar and her teddy. Whenever Skylar watches cartoons, Loki joins in too. He even lets Skylar and only Skylar share his bed. Honestly, we never thought the relationship would become this strong. But the day Loki met his baby sister, his entire world changed.
What's he doing?
Introducing them wasn't easy for us.
Someone knocking our hats off.
So we were very, very careful. We brought Skylar home and didn't let Loki too close, but he was smitten from the very beginning. Loki would lie right next to Skylar's crib and watch over her like a guardian. And all he wanted to do was give her hugs and kisses. And little Skylar couldn't help but smile when he was around. So as they grew up, their bond got even bigger.
Nicely.
At first, Loki wasn't sure why this little human was stomping about. But once he realized it was another set of hands to give him treats, he was all for it and would not leave her side. And now that Skylar is walking better, they can explore the world together. Whenever we take him on adventures, Loki and Skylar are never more than a few feet apart. Since they spend so much time together, Skylar has started to think she is part dog. When Loki is panning after a big play session, Skylar will pretend she's a pup and stick her tongue out to look like Loki. We honestly couldn't have wished for a better friendship. Loki has broken all stereotypes of bully breeds. He's shown just how incredible staffies are with kids and how much love they have to give. He is the sweetest and most gentle pup we could have asked for. And having a baby sister for him to pour all his love into is nothing short of a dream.
I'm not sure what he thought it was at first. Oh, started to make noises and he was like, what was happening? And then after a while, he just wanted to lay down on our laps with the baby. Loki was like, oh my god, finally! He put his head on his tummy and I almost cried. From that moment on, he just sat next to him with his nose on the chair. Now, when he sees Loki, his world just lights up.
Come. Up.
We got Loki because we lost Bob, our previous dog. So he and Loki only got to meet for 4 months. And he had to grieve because his big brother was suddenly just gone. But then we got to promise Loki that another brother was coming. Because he was so small after we got him, he almost didn't know me not pregnant. But when my belly started to grow, he was a little stunned. We wanted to give Loki the opportunity to get to know him or to love him like he knows how to do. So if I want Oz to be on the ground to do some tummy time, it was not happening. But after 3 months, I just did it. And the most beautiful thing happened. I was upstairs at one time and Loki was in the hall and I heard him running. And I was like, oh my god, what's happening up here? And he was just running between the stairs and I was just crying because he woke up from his sleep. Then he was like, okay, now you need to help him. Okay, you're coming. I think, in a way, Loki's watching over him. And then we're like one happy, perfect family. My heart is melting every day and it also makes me cry sometimes. When he's looking at Loki, he has more laughs and my heart jumps every time. Oz is trying new things every day and Loki's just along for the ride. So I think Oz is definitely loving more of Loki every day and I just cannot describe what it means.
Connie, where's Mary? Where's Mary? Yay!
It was really bizarre and heartwarming because some babies can be really afraid of dogs. But Mary would actually crawl towards Connie and then they will start kissing each other. They have this bond like they're two babies. Whenever she sees Mary, Connie will go wagging and find her. Mary also has this attachment towards Connie. And we were surprised because I don't know how they formed this bond. When a previous owner wanted to send Connie back to the breeder, I said, why not just give it to me? They couldn't take care of Connie. She was probably about 4 months old when she came to my home. And she's really very cheeky and playful. But she's really cautious with dogs. I was living with Cookie, she's a family dog. From the first meeting, when Connie approached Cookie, would have this apprehension mode. Cookie had a hard time adapting with Connie. But she's really very friendly with humans and loves human interaction. My sister came to live with me for a month with a baby as well. So I decided to introduce Mary. When Mary and Connie first met, Mary would chase Connie and Connie was scared. She would run away.
It's okay.
She was really nervous. And then after a few days, they would just come to each other and just created this bond, just magical. We say sayang. Sayang means go caress. When I tell Mary go sayang Connie, Mary will actually crawl towards Connie.
Say Mary. Kiss, kiss.
Me and my sister were like, what? How can she be so cute? Just completely melted by her cuteness. Connie is like a daughter to me. Come here, Connie. Come here. Connie, sit. Paw. Okay. We just have this unexplainable bond. Whenever I reach home, she'll be the first one to come and greet me. She loves me, but it's about she's married. So I cannot imagine my day without her.
Enough, Daz.
When we go into Ethan's room, they'll lick his hand and say like, "Good morning to Ethan." And then Ethan's crawling all over the place and they want him to play.
Are you gonna drop his food? Are you waiting?
They definitely think maybe he's like a little puppy. He'll giggle and laugh and to get even more excited.
What's happening?
But I do think Ethan coming into the house completely turned their world around.
You get him.
I always grew up having a dog, and so I knew I definitely wanted one in my life. We found Bones on a Facebook page, and the organization asked us if we wanted 2 dogs. My boyfriend said it might be a good idea for us to get 2 because then they would have each other. And then we decided that we would get the both of them.
What'd you do? Daddy. Give me a kiss.
I definitely treated them like my kids. We would take them anywhere we went, really.
You're tired.
And they were super clingy right from the start.
Give me your love and affection.
So when Ethan came, I was really worried that they could have been really jealous.
The brother's up here.
Do you want to see him?
But that wasn't the case at all.
Good boy.
They were just so curious as to like,
Is that baby? Yeah.
every time Ethan would cry, Taz would run into his room and look at us like, okay, are you gonna take care of this kid?
No face licks. Dude.
And Bones wanted to cuddle with him. As time went on, Ethan would reach for them. Right now, he doesn't know how to play with them.
Whoa, there goes Ethan running away from Taz.
But they're waiting for Ethan to be part of their pack.
Easy, Bones, easy.
People say, oh, you better make sure your dogs don't eat him. And I'm like, my dogs don't have a mean bone in their body. They're super sweet and super lovable. And that's the experience we've had with them and Ethan. When I see Taz and Bones and Ethan playing together, I kind of melt inside. Because this is exactly what I wanted for them. And it's happening.
When my son comes home from school and they greet him, they give him kisses. And he goes from dog to dog, makes sure that everyone gets cuddles. When Tristan was a young child, we had friends coming over with their own dogs. They would form a circle around him and make it really clear that this baby is not for you to touch. But for me, I was really scared in the beginning, becoming a mother. So if I didn't have my dogs at that time, I don't know. When Tristan was born, I had 4 dogs. Suki came in 2017, and she was a little bit skeptical of people in the beginning. But I've taught my son dog language since day 1. You get down on your knees, you turn your side, no direct eye contact. She had time to get used to him, and then they were best buddies from then on. And so that's how I approached Tintin. I saw Tintin's cute little face from an organization's website and fell in love. She came into a foster family in Germany, and from that foster family, I went down to get her. When she met my son, I think it took, 8 hours until she was sleeping in his bed. They were just with my son from the beginning. He's learned a lot of great values through hanging out with his dogs. When he's sick, Tintin, Suki, they are around him, cuddling him. As he's playing, they're lying down next to him as well. And so he likes to caress them or hug them very, very gently. But he always asks for consent, which is really, really good. So he stops for a second to make sure, and then they look at him to say, yeah, it's good. It's a safe space that the dogs create for my son to express himself. To see him being able to grow up around animals, it fills my soul and heart with happiness. They taught my son invaluable life lessons and what it means to show compassion. So my feelings when I see them cuddle together, I think it's the greatest gift. And it's just so priceless, just priceless.
Ramsey's gonna get you. He's gonna get you.
People would always say to me, Bullterriers are terrible with children. But when it comes to Ramsey and Eden, it's a whole different story.
Hey, Rams.
If anything, Ramsey is Eden's personal bodyguard. He's like her fluffy shadow, always telling her to make sure the fun never stops. Every day with them is like a play date, where the only rule is to have a blast. And just when you think you've got them all figured out, something unexpected happens. I always wanted an English Bull Terrier. And when I saw Ramsey's picture, it was like the doggo gods were saying, this is meant to be. So I knew then and there, Ramsey was the one. Ramsey. He fit into the family right off the bat.
Come here.
It was like he had been here his whole life. And wherever I went, that's exactly where Ramsey wanted to be. Whether it was using me as a pillow, or becoming the ultimate toe snatcher. We were like two peas in a pod.
Oh boy.
But that all changed when my daughter Eden was born.
He's stroking your brother.
Ramsey was love-struck when Eden arrived. He thought, who is this beautiful little human running around my house? He would stand by her crib all day crying so he could see her. And when Eden was on her playmat, there is only one place you will find him. When I saw Ramsey giving her morning kisses, I was gobsmacked. And he went from making sure she kept her balance in the walker to following her on bike rides.
I miss you, Ramsey.
Now, if Ramsey goes out for a long walk, Eden always tells him she missed him. Or just insists to tag along. They truly are an unbreakable pair. I always thought Ramsey would be my best friend for life. But it turns out the universe had even better plans. The relationship he has with Eden is something I never could have dreamed of. And I have no doubt there'll be many, many more memories to come.
When I come into the room, the kids will crawl all over him and he just lays there. Walter, he is taller than my husband and 150 pounds. But he's just a big, cuddly teddy bear.
He's gonna give you kisses.
Bye, Walter.
He's right there to greet them when they come in the door from school. If the boys go outside in the backyard, he's running around like crazy because he's so excited. Odin and Rowan could spend all day watching Walter. But when you first welcome a puppy into your family, you're never too sure how it's going to go. I wanted my kids to grow up around dogs. Unexpectedly, we found a couple that were having a litter of Irish Wolfhounds. I thought now was the opportunity, so we kind of jumped on it. He sat in my lap the whole way home, and I just knew right away he was gonna get along with their kids. When they first met, it was lots of giggles, lots of tail wagging. My boys have never been afraid of Walter. My youngest was a bit of a couch potato, and Walter, he would sit and relax too. My oldest son, Odin, would take him for walks. They kind of grew up together like a little pack. If they're sitting playing with their toys, Walter's usually not far away. And they will feed him by hand sometimes. As the boys have gotten older, they've started school, they spend more time outside.
Oh, lovely.
Although I do think Walter enjoys some quiet time to himself. In an hour, he just sit and watch out the window. And then he gives them big kisses.
Is he tickling you?
Yeah.
It makes me so happy to see them so comfortable with each other. We've actually had a few times when they're terrified of Walter. But Walter is very gentle. He's very sweet. He's caring. He's brought such joy and companionship into our home. I think that Walter's bond with the boys will only get bigger and stronger. And I hope that one day they realize how lucky they were to have them as a companion.
Чого ти плачеш? Тебе образили? Ти жалієшся, Росіку?
I've heard of puppy love before, but never like this. Royce is absolutely glued to Lisa at all times. Whatever imaginary game she has going on, he's right in the middle. And when we go on walks, he tags along like her little tail. They share everything, even their snacks. And although Royce is a big boy, he's only gentle to Lisa. He has become a whole new dog since she was born. But before Lisa, Royce was the only baby here. We so desperately wanted a dog, but we knew it was a really big decision. And then our friends gifted us the most beautiful puppy. It was a big adjustment, but we just couldn't resist Royce. I'd never met a dog so smart and friendly. He never acted out or made a mess, well, unless there was mud. But in classic puppy fashion, he was the center of attention. He didn't like cuddles or lots of pets like other dogs we knew, but he was always happy to play and run. Royce was just so special, a perfect family dog. But little did he know, things were about to change. I felt pregnant with Lisa. Royce would just not leave me alone. Everywhere I turned, he was right there. At the time, I wasn't sure what to think, but I knew we had to plan for him to meet the baby. We did our research and decided to put Lisa in the crib and let Royce come to her. He was very confused at first. He had never seen a baby before. But somewhere in those minutes, he decided he would always protect this tiny thing. If Lisa started to cry, he was the first one to make sure she was okay. And when she began to crawl, it was his happiest day. With the invasion, he was needed more as a working dog. He worked with me comforting veterans and children. But whenever we came back home, Lisa was the first thing he looked for. Royce loves Lisa more than anything, and I know I can trust my baby with him. Even though things are still uncertain, I know Royce protects my family. But most of all, he protects his best friend.
Gaela. Milo. No, mi amor.
The other day, he grabbed one of his toys and he came and he gave it to his sister. And I was like, wow, you really love her, because he won't even do that to me. That was so nice of him to just come and give something that he loves to his sister. He loved her since the moment she came home. He was so excited to see her. He wanted to lick her face. He wanted to be around her and check her out. So it's incredible how he knows that she's little and he needs to be gentle with her. It actually took my husband 3 years to convince me to get Milo.
Good boy.
My husband found Milo in Peru. He was this tiny little fur ball and he was so happy. He did so well on the flight. From that day on, I fell in love with him.
Milo, we're on a walk.
It was something that I had never experienced before. And then we decided that we're ready to have a baby. Ever since I was pregnant, he would always come and lay down on top of me and put his paw on my belly. After I gave birth to Rafaela, Milo slept with her blanket, so he was already familiar with her smell before we got home. I wanted to make sure that he felt loved the whole time and never to leave him out. So whenever I'm feeding Rafaela, he's always next to us. We always invited him in to be around with us and close to her and smelling her. Whenever she's sleeping, he goes and sleeps next to her. Every time she sees him, she starts giggling. So he never leaves her side. I think that's what created the relationship that they have now.
He's a year and a half.
We were doing family trips to the beach, family trips to the park. I can't wait to see them together, running together, swimming together. They're always going to have each other. They're never going to be lonely. To see the relationship that they're developing together, that's the best feeling in the world. I'm so thankful to him. He made me a stronger person. He showed me love. My life did a 360 and he changed everything. He's the one that made us a family.
As Nina's growing, they are like sisters. Alba will bring her own toy and sit down next to her to play together. Every morning, Alba would bring all of her toys to Nina's door and just sit there, waiting for Nina to wake up. And then when like an hour went by and Nina was still sleeping, Alba would go running to Nina's room, start scratching the door, and wake up Nina. But since Nina has started going to daycare, which means that she isn't at home with us all day, we find Alba in her room a lot. But as soon as she sees Nina coming out, she'll just go crazy. We contacted this woman. Her dog had had puppies at her house. There were 10 puppies and she only had one left. And then when the time came for us to be able to pick her up, I told her, please don't cut her tail. And she told me, no, it's already cut. I think all dogs have cute tails and cute ears, and we just need to keep them the way they are. But I won't exclude any dog just because they've already had their tail cut.
No, Eva. No.
In those first few weeks, we just immediately bonded. She was our baby. But when my belly started to grow, it was affecting her self-confidence. So of course that made us try to make her feel extra special. We arrived home. My husband went inside, said hello. She did her whole happy dance, hugs, kisses. Then we introduced Nina as a gift to her. Alba was very intrigued. She got all fired up again, wanting to smell and everything. And slowly she just started getting closer and closer. Alba really loves playing fetch, so she would bring Nina's toys and just stare at her like, throw it, throw it. It's super sweet that they get to grow through this evolution in their relationship together as well. Women who are pregnant say, I feel guilty because my dog isn't going to feel equally loved. Your dog will gain so much more as long as you keep them as a priority. Normal life for Nina is mom, dad, and Alba. And for Alba, it's mom, dad, and Nina. And I think that genuinely brings joy. Our family unit